I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye joda zoge jonam la chanju bardo dani kyapsu che dage jinso kebe sonam chola benjir sanye Jugandhar. Sanye joda zoge jonam la chanju bardo dani kyapsu.
Our Sarkunas Dua. Just invite them if they're interested. Okay. One is Mr. Kabir.
Yeah.
You know him? Yeah.
Dage jinso kebe sonam ge chola benjir sanye rubare sho.
Okay, yesterday we read we left at page 136. 136, we left it there. Okay, we read from verse 35, although we read it, but we'll read it again. Verse 35 is a continuation. If some of you, this may be very new, whereas for many of you, this is page, this is A Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment by Lama Atisha Dibangara Shri Jnana. And verse 35, so it is talking about the teachings that we practice, that we have to practice, and that too on the basis of our maturation. Initially, we encourage to focus on the practice meant for the small scope person, which means that the people who are not so matured, who just think of how to take a favorable birth next time. So this life is okay, but the next life, what is going to happen, we never know. So to make sure that the next life is taken care of, this is the first teaching meant how to acquire the favorable next life, favorable next birth for the next life. Then once you know how to do that, the next is that, okay, next life is good, but okay, how many of you will be pretty confident of what tomorrow is going to be like? Tomorrow I'll have food, no problem. Any sense? Not 100% sure, but most likely yes. Okay, after 1 month, still okay. After 20 years, we can never say that. You're getting it? Okay, a billionaire can become a homeless. You alright? So we never know. And what about next life? That is even more remote. You're getting it? So further away in time, more unpredictable is your situation. So okay, next birth, okay, we can prepare according to what is taught here. And then what is the wisest thing to do? Because with the birth is a little complicated: sickness, aging, death, tension, sibling fights, right? And then the litigation cases, cancer, all these problems are the COVID-19. And then we never know, right? Say for example, the Tibetans, we are totally made homeless, right? And the Ukrainians, many of them, they just fled their country. And even the Russian young boys, they're all running away, right? Because of the, what do you call this? Mobilizing the...
Conscription.
Huh?
Mobilization or conscription.
Conscription, yeah.
So these things happen. We never know what is going to be the next situation for us. We never know. So then what is the wisest thing to do? Say this life, next life, next life. Okay, next life, okay. Then after 100 lifetimes, 1000 lifetimes, we cannot predict, right? So what is the best thing to do? Anyone? Any idea? Any idea? What do you think is the best thing to do? Anyone? Huh? Yes, student Saula?
Do best every day.
Okay, do best every day. Yes. Okay, but there is a safe haven. You're getting it? There's a permanent solution there. What should we do? Oh, in this life, Buddhahood. Oh, that's good. But maybe this is too ambitious. Okay, what should we do?
Maybe prepare and meditate on impermanence that everything will change.
Yes, everything will change, and then change. Because of this change, then suffering comes. So you could not get over the suffering. How to get over the suffering completely? Anyone? Yes. Okay. Ajikibala. Huh? Nirvana. Shoulders Tujla. Renunciation. Nicola.
Get rid of the mental defilements.
Get rid of the mental defilements. Anyone else? Okay. Let's say that, what will you do? If there is a place where sometimes you are given 5-star hotel good treatment, and sometimes you are slept, right? And sometimes total hunger, right? If there is such a place there, totally unpredictable, and the moment that area is a huge campus, and once you cross that, you're guaranteed that everything is taken care of. So, what is the option? If you're in that place, what will you do? Say, but you get, sometimes you get good treatments, right? You are given special treatment on your birthday. Nice Parag. Yesterday you were given a treat, right? Right? Okay, so you get treatment, you get good treat. People give you good, give you treat on a birthday and so forth. That's good. So why do you want to? Yes, over there.
Maybe develop the same mindset towards good and bad.
Develop the same mindset.
Because if you only accumulate negative karma, if you react.
Okay, keep accumulating positive karma. This is what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to, the question was that we should make sure what should
How to protect yourself in the long run. So, say tomorrow is fine. Tomorrow we can be pretty sure that we'll get food. And then the 10 days is also 1 year is also pretty okay. But after 10 years, 20 years, we cannot say. Then next life, that is even more remote, right? So how to guarantee that you don't suffer in the next lives and so forth? So the one is your name. Navya. So Navya said, let's keep accumulating positive karmas all the time. Good?
Escape.
Oh, yes. So finally the point is that because it's so unpredictable. Today you're being, the person is so kind to you, and the next day you slapped, and the next day you are given treat, birthday treat, and then they still next day again slap. It's so unpredictable, right? So that's totally, you don't have the freedom to feel the joy every day. So the best thing is escape, right? Escape from samsara completely. You're getting it? So the first phase says, okay, what about tomorrow? Tomorrow, at least I should not suffer tomorrow. Or at least next life I should not suffer. Then you become more matured. And then you can think about what about next life? That also we can take care of. What about next life? After 100 lifetimes, that is totally unpredictable. We never know, right? Well, so the best thing is escape from samsara completely, so that you don't have to really worry about what after 100 lifetimes, 200 lifetimes, or 1000 lifetimes, that you don't have to worry at all, that you don't have to come back to the place of miseries again, ever again. This is known as, say, the escape from the place of miseries. What is that place of misery known as? Samsara. So, what is this escape known as? Nirvana. What is the desire to escape? Is known as renunciation. All these things come down to the same point. And then finally, in that case, what happens when you escape? You always accumulate positive karmas. What Navya said. Nivya or Navya? Navya. What Navya said? That when you escape, then you accumulate only virtuous karmas, you don't accumulate any negative karmas. You're getting it? So we see that all these things come to the same point. In other words, we see that there are two levels, then we will move to the third level. First level is what? Okay, this life is okay, but next life we cannot predict. I must prepare for the next life, number one. Then the third one, the next one is okay, next is okay, but next, after 100 lifetimes, 1000 lifetimes, yes, it will come. So what preparation do we have? No, we cannot prepare anything. Only thing is just think of exiting from samsara completely, escape from samsara completely. So for that we need escape velocity, right? To exit out of samsara completely, we need escape velocity. Okay, then this is number 2. Okay, that's good. Then what about my parents? What about my children? What about my friends? What about all the people who are, all the beings who I love so much? What about them? Oh, that's true. I will take the responsibility, not only for myself, but the responsibility for all the dear Mother Sentient beings. That is number 3. Of the three, these three, the aspirations. One, to aspire to look for a wholesome birth next time, that next life you don't suffer, like in hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realm, and so forth, that you have a favorable birth next time. Number 1. Number 2 is to exit out of samsara completely. Number 3 is to attain the highest enlightenment, total fearlessness, infinite happiness for all the dear Mother Sentient beings. Of the 3 options, tell me, grade them like say 0, 5, 10. So how would you grade these 3? You just put them in the order. Let's say the seeking freedom from samsara completely, seeking a favorable birth next time, seek complete enlightenment for all dear Mother Sentient beings. Of the 3, how would you grade it? Quick. What?
1050.
What is that? 1050?
10 is like you desire enlightenment not only for yourself but
Okay, let's say you have to climb the step. Don't from the top down, down up. Let's say, what's the first one?
first one is for the future life, concern for the life.
Okay, listen to your name again.
Anushri.
Anushri. Okay, listen to what Anushri is saying and just see if you agree with her. The first one, 0, 5, 10. 0 is 0 meaning, okay, let's say 1, 5, 10 is where you aspire for a favorable birth next time, because this life is okay. We can take care of ourselves, like food, clothing, that's it. And then so next life is something which which is beyond our hand for the time being. So we have to learn how to prepare for this. This is number 1. Then number 2.
Indian scope is when you desire enlightenment, escape from samsara.
So you desire nirvana, to be freed from samsara completely, that you don't have to worry about what about next life and so forth, right? Number 2. Then number 3.
Number 3 is you desire enlightenment not only for yourself but for all your mother beings.
You seek full enlightenment for all the demon sentient beings. Number 3. How many of you agree with Anushri? Okay, raise hands. Okay, how many don't agree with Anushri? Raise hands. What about those who did not raise hands? Raise hands, those who did not raise hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay, what is that? What's your standpoint? Which means you fully agree with Anushri, right? You totally agree with Anushri. Okay, so this is known as, So for this, it is not that easy to think of, I will become Buddha for all, benefit for all sentient beings. We have to grow. It is like a school system. First you go to kindergarten, then you go to the junior school, then high school. So on what basis you are promoted from the kindergarten to, or some of you are in kindergarten, some of you are in the junior, some of you are in the high school. On what basis you are put in these three different categories? Anyone? On what basis? Hadunla, the Ajunla. Age, okay. If you come from a remote place and you are already 60 years old, you will put in the highest class. Because you are oldest. Huh? Who said it? Knowledge. Knowledge. Okay. So which means okay, knowledge. Anyone else? On what basis? Age, knowledge, both related. Okay. So if you are a genius and still you are very young, you are in the first class, or okay, you are very genius, so you don't require these, preliminaries. Direct, or no, you are young, you have to go. Okay. So basically it's about ideally in principle, right? In principle, the idea is that somebody is expected to grow. It's not that, oh, you are intelligent, you are in the third category. You are not so intelligent, you are in the it's not like this. So everybody is expected to go to the kindergarten first, right? Generally speaking, like 99% of the children, how they are sent first to the kindergarten, and then to the junior school, then to the senior school. Yes, it's on the basis of the individual's maturation. You're getting it? So this is how we expected to grow. So likewise, first we need to focus on how to attain a favorable birth next life. So this is known as the teaching meant for the small scope person. You're getting it? Teaching meant for small scope person. First we have to know what is small scope person, what is middle scope person, what is great scope person. So these three are the persons. So these three persons, they are decided on the basis of what they seek. What they seek, there are three goals which differ in profundity. The first one is favorable life next time. Number two is get out of samsara completely, attain nirvana. Number three is complete enlightenment, Buddhahood. There are three goals there. You are getting it? There are three goals there. And it's not that some people aspire the first, some others second, still others the third. No. It is what is expected is everyone is supposed to go through the first, and then then go to the second, then move to the third. You have to grow. You're getting it? Okay. So there are teachings given how to accomplish the first goal, how to accomplish the second goal. Teachings to make you grow, to make you reach the third goal. There are three different teachings there. These three different teachings are known as the first teaching is known as teachings meant for the small scope person. Then the second one is teaching meant for the middle scope person, teaching meant for the great scope person. My question to you, what is the goal of the middle scope person? What is the goal of the teachings meant for the middle scope person? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Okay. This is Dongala? Middle scope person? Are you sure?
Let's go.
Okay, I'm trying to trick you, and you are very confident. I'm glad. Okay, a middle scope. What is the goal? Nirvana. You're getting it? Nirvana. And then the great scope. Buddhahood, or you can say complete enlightenment. Because if you say enlightenment, it's a little confusing. Because even the nirvana is also enlightenment. Nirvana is also referred to as enlightenment, but the full awakening or full enlightenment is Buddhahood. Right? What is the goal of the small scope person? Favorable next life. Favorable good birth. Favorable next life. Okay. These are three goals. Because there are three goals, there are three teachings, three sets of teachings to take you, to help you go there, to reach these three goals. There are three teachings. So these three teachings are known as teachings meant for the small scope person, teachings meant for the middle scope person, teachings meant for the great scope person. Okay, now I'd like to take you to a little nuanced the concept related to this. Teaching. We need to make a distinction between teaching meant for the small scope person versus teaching in common with the small scope person. Teaching for the small scope person and teaching in common with the small scope person. There are two. Teaching, I say some people, they say that, okay, right? Some people, they say that I just want to do the junior school. I'm not interested in studies at all, right? I don't want to go to senior school. Or some say that, okay, let's say the school, then what? College and university, let's say. School, college, university. University meaning the post graduation. Okay. Say the school till class 12, and then the college, undergrad, graduation, and then the post graduation. Let's say three. And some people say that let me finish the school and then I'm not interested in college, right? Some people are like that. Some people say that, I'll school and go to college and I'm not really interested in the post graduation. And this third category say that, yes, I must do the post graduation, right? There are three categories. Someone who said that, I'm not interested in college and this, let me finish my school, finish, don't force me, right? Okay, so that person, the teaching meant for these people are known as the teaching for the small scope person. That's it, it's clean, small scope person. And whereas those people who want to do the post graduation, these people also have to do the school. So this is known as the teaching in common with the small scope person. Teaching in common with the small scope person. Okay. Then likewise, there is another group of people who will say that I want to do the college and then I will not do the postdoc, post graduation. I'll not do post graduation. I'll do the graduation and finished. Okay, so these people, they have to do they are not interested to do the higher. So that teaching is known as teaching for the middle scope person. And whereas somebody who wants to do the post graduation, they have to do the school as well as the college. So that for them, when they do the teaching for the middle scope person, then that teaching is known as teaching in common with the middle scope person. And for the grade scope person, there's no something common, it's only themselves. So we just say teaching for the grade scope person, right? Okay. Now anybody, in other words, from this the lesson is that, okay, how many of you want to, if possible, if there's a possibility, how many want to become fully enlightened, to experience the infinite happiness as well as the total fearlessness? Raise hands. All of you. If you belong to this category, then you have to study all three, which means for you, the teaching for a small scope person is not for you. Teaching in common with the small scope person is required for you. For you, the three teachings required are the teaching in common with the small scope person, teaching in common with the middle scope person, and the teaching for the great scope person. So this is known as the graded path. The graded path. You are getting it? In Tibetan, it is known as Lam Rim. Lam is the path, and the Rim is the graded or stages of the path or the graded path. You're getting it? Okay. So the Lama Tsongkhapa, he wrote a whole whole volume on these three paths, which is known as the Great Treatise on the Stages of the Path to Enlightenment. And there are 3 volumes in English. In Tibetan, it's 1 volume. In English, the translators, they split into 3 volumes. The great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment. Okay, in Tibetan it is Lamrim Chemmo. Okay, so now we are reading this. Yes, now we are on which page? Page 136, 136, verse number 35. Okay, we'll read from there. The merit gained in a single day by one who possesses higher perception. Okay, here higher perception is like the special mental qualities attained through meditative states. In Tibetan it is known as Ngun She. In Tibetan it is known as Ngun She. Say, which you attain through, they are several of them, like ability to read others' minds, and ability to hear the sound, remote sounds, ability to hear the very subtle physical forms, and so forth. Say, and the ability to perform miracles. So these, Lama Disha Devangara Shirigyana said that these are extremely important qualities that we need to attain and to make our Dhamma practice very swift. Okay, 35 once more. The merit gained in a single day by one who possesses higher perception cannot be gained even in 100 lifetimes by one without such higher perception. Those who want swiftly to complete the collection for full enlightenment will accomplish higher perception through effort, not through laziness. Without the attainment of calm abiding, higher perception will not occur. Therefore, making repeated effort to accomplish calm abiding. While the conditions for calm abiding are incomplete, meditative stabilization will not be accomplished, even if one meditates strenuously for 1,000 of years. Thus, maintaining well the conditions mentioned in the collection of meditative stabilization chapter, place the mind on any one virtuous focal object. When the practitioner has gained calm abiding, higher perception will also be gained. But without the practice of the perfection of wisdom, obstructions will not come to an end. Thus, to eliminate all obstructions, to liberate one, the practitioner should continually cultivate the perfection of wisdom with skillful means. Wisdom without skillful means and skillful means too without wisdom are referred to as bondage. Therefore, do not give up either. To eliminate doubts concerning what is wisdom and what skillful means are, I should make clear the difference between skillful means and wisdom. Apart from the perfection of wisdom, all virtuous practice such as the perfection of giving are described as skillful means by the victorious ones. Whoever under the influence of familiarity with skillful means cultivate wisdom will quickly attain enlightenment, not just by meditating on selflessness. Understanding the emptiness of inherent existence through realizing the aggregates, constituents, and the sources are not produced is described as wisdom. Something existent cannot be produced, nor something non-existent like a sky flower. These errors are both absurd, and thus both of them too will not occur either. A thing is not produced from itself, nor from another, also not from both, nor causelessly, neither does it does not exist inherently by way of its own entity. Moreover, when all phenomena are examined as to whether they are one or many, they are not seen to exist by way of their own entity, and thus are ascertained as not inherently existent. The reasoning of the 70 stanzas on emptiness, the treatise on the middle way, and so forth, explain that the nature of all things is established as emptiness. Since there are a great many passages, I have not cited them here, but have explained just the conclusions for the purpose of meditation. Thus, whatever is meditation on selflessness by not observing an inherent nature in phenomena is the cultivation of wisdom. Just as wisdom does not see an inherent nature in phenomena, having analyzed wisdom without itself by reasoning, meditate on that non-conceptually. Worldly existence, which has come from conceptualization, is conceptuality. Thus, the elimination of conceptuality is the highest state of nirvana. That the great ignorance of conceptuality makes us fall into the ocean of cyclic existence, resting in non-conceptual stabilization, space like non-conceptuality manifests clearly. When bodhisattvas non-conceptually contemplate this excellent teaching, they will transcend conceptuality so hard to overcome, and eventually reach the non-conceptual state. Having ascertained through scripture and through reasoning that phenomena are not produced, no inherently existent, meditate without conceptuality. Having thus meditated on suchness, eventually, after reaching heat and so forth, the thoroughly joyous and the others are attained, and before long the enlightened state of Buddhahood. If you wish to create with ease the collection for enlightenment through activities of pacification, increase and so forth, gained by the power of the mantra, and also through the force of the aid, and the other great attainments like good pot, if you want to practice sacred mantra as explained in the action and performance tantra, then to receive the preceptor initiation, you must please an excellent spiritual teacher through service, valuable gifts and the like, as well as through obedience. Through full bestowal of the perception initiation, you are purified of all wrongdoing and become fit to gain powerful attainments. Because the great tantra of the primordial Buddha forbids it emphatically, those observing pure conduct should not take the secret and wisdom initiations. If those observing the austere practice of pure conduct were to hold these initiations, their vow of austerity would be impaired through doing that which is prescribed. This creates transgression that are a defeat for those observing discipline. Since they are certain to fall into bad rebirth, they will never gain accomplishments. There is no fault if one has received the preceptor initiation and has knowledge of suchness, listens to and explains the tantra, and performs burnt offering rituals or makes offerings of gifts and so forth. I, the elder Dipangara Shri Jnana, having seen it explained in sutras and in other teachings, have made this concise explanation at the request of Changju. Okay, this concludes the learn for the part of to enlightenment by the heart master Dipangara Shri Jnana. It was translated, revised and finalized by the eminent Indian abbot himself and by the great reviser, translator and fully ordained monk Gyaltsab Lodrö. This teaching was written in the temple of Tuling in Shangshung. Okay. Okay. So we were just yesterday we were talking about the 4 seals. I hope you have the 4 seals on your fingertips. What are they? All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. Okay, and the translations can vary. And those of us, whatever language that you are the more comfortable with, Tibetan, English, Hindi, Sanskrit, whatever language, you can say in that particular language. And if you can recite this on a daily basis, but reflect on the meanings, it will have a very gradual, but at the same time extremely profound impact in your thinking. That when we encounter with difficult situations, you can easily deal with these situations. You will not be shocked, you will not be paranoid by these situations. The situation will be under control. Otherwise, we easily become agitated, and then we freak out so easily, and then look, for small reasons we fight amongst the siblings, parents, children, husband, wife. For small reasons they fight. Whereas if you think about these, then just imagine, say the parents and the children. The fact that you're together, this is a great blessing, right? And the children, they simply want to push their parents away from them. And they could not see things far away. So if this is a situation, think of people like us, who want to crave to see their parents, who want to crave to talk to them, who want to crave to serve them tea, food, to make them happy. But in this world, at least in this life, there's nobody to call as my mom. You're getting it? So those of you who still have your mother, your dad, they are not perfect, but just feel the joy of being together. You're breathing the same air, you're treading the same, the earth. there's somebody there who's alive to whom you can call as father, mother, and so forth. It's so precious, right? Don't think of, don't be say the fight over the small things. This is so important. Just think of the bigger picture. So what will give you the bigger picture? All composite things. For example, say the let's say that, okay, this is not mine, but if this is mine, right, I may be so possessed of this, right? And even somebody touches it, I'm a little unhappy. If there's an earthquake there, right, and if it is left there in the office, will I go to run to get it, or I'll run for my life? I'll run for my life. This is nothing. With respect to the bigger danger, this is too tiny. With respect to your life, this is nothing. You're getting it? So if you see a broader picture, small things will not irritate you. But if you don't see the broader picture, then small things can irritate you. Even a tiny small, somebody says you're a stupid person, and instantly it makes you so mad. So this is all indication that we really require to have a broader picture of the reality. And these are the broad, all composite things, impermanent, not only the breakfast, we finished, right? Not only small things, all composite things are impermanent. Just think of this, it'll give a broad picture, right? The people who fought for the kingdom, my kingdom, your kingdom, killing each other. Now, where are those people 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago who've been fighting? The kings who think that Alexander the Great, what great, now disappeared, right? Julius Caesar, where are they? All disappeared. When they're alive, they think that they are like permanent, eternal, immortal. And I want everything, the whole world. They conquered. Who is that? Alexander, I think he died in 30s, when he was in his 30s. He did not really have a good time, leisure time. He was just busy conquering. Finally he died. I think out of the flu or some cold, he died on the way while going to conquer. And he was conquered by the disease, right? So look, they're all gone. They're all because of their very narrow thinking. Whereas if you think of this broad picture, even what we call as Alexander the Great, all gone. Julius Caesar, all gone, right? Who tried to conquer the world, they're all gone. Genghis Khan, gone, right? And one day CCP will be gone, 100%. So this are all it's a very narrow thinking that the leaders, they have this problem. And each one of us, we are even narrower. So within a small family of two, husband, wife, only husband, wife, they have complication, right? In family, two parents and the children, therefore fights happening. Very narrow thing. Just think broadly, all composite things important. One day we all disappear. Right? We want to fight, we will not get even the opportunity to fight. We all disappear you have to live this separately, right? You cannot go together. Oh, I'm very sorry, so that's why I've been fighting with you, so now we'll go together to the next life. No, you cannot go together. Whether you like it or not, you have to go separately. So therefore the great master said that you came alone, you have to leave alone, right? You cannot take your, say, somebody loved ones. Okay, so if the broader the picture they have in a mind, more stable you are, more grounded you are, you can accept the reality. So therefore all these unnecessary conflicts, these conflicts wear or these conflicts consume your immune system. These conflicts consume your immune system. And where the immune system weak, you are prone to any kind of disease, ailments and sickness. And this will simply destroy you, ruin your life. So why conflict? Because he has not been kind to me. Everybody should be kind to me so that I'll be happy. Where's your happiness? Your immunity is gone, right? Your health is gone because of the anger, agitation. Okay, so broad picture. This is what I always tell people, that I think of the broader picture of the four seals. Every day say this and the effect will be felt. And these people who can think about this, on daily basis, recite, reflect on meanings. You go see, okay, we went to the Bodh Gaya main temple there. It was very beautiful moment. Even that also disappeared now. What we have is the imprints. From this, we have the imprints. Otherwise, that moment is gone. And then in few days' time, again we'll go to Rajgir. Again, this moment is gone. And then they say, yesterday you were one day younger than what you are today. Yes, you agree with me? Even that one day younger was also gone. Right? This is how impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. All composite. Very broad picture is given to you by the Buddha. And all contaminated things are suffering nature. Where the contamination happens in your thinking, it will only give rise to suffering, misery. No external factors can give you happiness. As long as you have the mental contamination, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, you will never be happy. It's not about dharma. Okay, according to Buddhism, all contaminated things are suffering nature. If you're not following Buddhism, you are exempted. No, but you're Buddhist or not Buddhist, where the self-grasping and self-centered attitude is there, there's no exception. Whether you're Buddhist or not, it doesn't matter, you suffer. Right? Okay. And then the COVID is only for the non-Buddhist. No, whether Buddhist, non-Buddhist, COVID doesn't know who you are. Or it's only for the men, it's only for the women. No, it doesn't know. Or it's only for this country, that country. No. So these are the common realities, universal, the facts. So the all contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Yet there is a solution to this. Okay, so we are doing this. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Now we have to know the technicalities. Not only just be able to recite it, but we need to know the technicalities. Okay, all contaminated things are suffering nature. So what we learned last time was all composite things are impermanent. That we think about this impermanence, the subtle impermanence, that every composite phenomena should necessarily undergo momentariness. And if you this is what we discussed yesterday, if you meditate on subtle, first we have to begin with the gross impermanence and then move to the subtle impermanence. Don't jump to the subtle impermanence. So, moving from the gross impermanence to the subtle impermanence in your meditation, then if you succeed in this, if you are being very systematic in your meditation, if you succeed, then the experience you'll get can be very scary, very profound, at the same time very scary. That you may see as though like the whole wall, your body, everything, all the composite things, they are like vibrations. You can see like this. Very scary though. And this is reality. This is reality which we fail to see now because we have been obscured. Our mind is obscured to see these subtle realities, and because of which we feel so relaxed. Actually, if you see the reality, the sense of urgency is bound to come to us. For which the Buddha taught that of all the imprints, the footprints of the elephant is the supreme. Of all the meditations, the meditation on the impermanence is the supreme. Why? It's not that this is, with the meditation impermanence, then you will attain nirvana. No. With the meditation impermanence, why is it said to be supreme? Anyone? Why the meditation impermanence is taught as the supreme of all the meditations? Why? Anyone raise hands? Yes, Sharmilji?
Because the other meditations will flow because of the urgency.
Because of this, it gives a sense of urgency. It gives a sense of urgency. With this will invariably make you look for the other meditations. Emptiness, bodhicitta, all these things, automatically they will happen. So therefore, this is considered extremely important. And this will, for example, let's say, okay, one example that I give is that, okay, if I see a snake somewhere there at the door, how quickly we'll react. And do you agree with me that I may say, hey, this is Yambela, this is a snake, they wouldn't mind removing it, right? Then, okay. And whereas if the snake is here, right, do you think that I'll say, hey, this is Yambela, there's a snake here, wouldn't mind removing it? Do you think this is what I'll do? No? Putila, no? What will I do? I'll jump. You're getting it? By the time I say, hey, this is young Bella, the snake will bite me. Right? So the moment it's very close by me, then it gives me a sense of urgency. I'll jump. You're getting it? So this is the meaning of the sense of urgency. With sense of urgency, you will make things happen right there and then. So with this, all the other meditations will happen. This will trigger all the other meditations. Okay. So this is so important. Now, if you meditate on the subtle impermanence, gross impermanence is so important. Only by meditating on the gross impermanence, then you will see the weight, the gravity of the meditation on subtle impermanence. So with the subtle impermanence meditation, you get a feeling we are bound to get a feeling that you are suddenly at the train platform, a stranger picks you up and throws you in a very fast moving train. And the train is moving so fast. So what do you feel? You feel scared. Faster the train moves, the more the fear. Where is this train taking me? Right? Okay. And who decides where the train moves, where the train takes you? Who decides? The train driver decides. You're getting it? So if the train driver is your parents, no doubt it'll take you to a picnic spot. But if the train driver is the terrorist, or the train driver is under the dictate, under the sway of the terrorists, it'll take you only to the slaughterhouse, right? Slaughterhouse. In our case, the train driver is a mind, which we move so fast, and the train driver is a mind. And this mind is under the dictate of the contaminations. What does it mean by contaminations? Contamination means afflictions. You getting it? Contamination means afflictions. Okay. Okay, what examples do you have for afflictions? What examples? Yes? Desires. Barak? Examples of afflictions? Chandrasekhar? Yes? Anger? Parag? Hatred? Anyone else? Jealousy? Crime? Pride. Oh, what about crime? Is it affliction or not? Crime.
No, because it's not a state of mind.
Say
It's an action.
okay, let's say that crime is not affliction. Crime is not affliction or affliction? Yes, crime happens because of the affliction. So affliction is the driving force which makes these actions happen. So actions and afflictions, these two are different. Afflictions are the triggers to give rise to the actions. You are getting it? So give rise to the karmas. And the actions meaning karmas. Okay, good. So contamination here, contaminated and contaminations, these are different. For example, say that our mug can be contaminated by the mud, but a mug per se is not a mud. A mug is here. The mug is steel, right? It is not mud, but it is tainted by mud. It is contaminated by mud. Contaminated and contamination. What contaminates is contamination, right? And what is contaminated? It's like karmas are contaminated. Our body is contaminated, right? Our body is the result of the afflictions. Our body is the result of the previous afflictions, right? Our body is a good or bad? Our body. Illness, sickness, aging, death, hunger, thirst. So how many of you agree with me that 99% of what you earn is actually spent after your body? Raise your hands. 99%. Time spent on your body. Even all the earnings, like 99%, I'm working just to feed this body. Or I'm feeling cold, AC, buy this, right? I'm feeling cold, buy a heating system. I'm feeling hot, by a cooling system. I'm hungry, food, and for the food I need a kitchen, right? So these are all for this body, right? Okay, so this body is very complicated, right? Very complicated. But at the same time, this very body is very precious. With this body, you can expect to attain nirvana. You can expect to attain Buddhahood. You can expect to unravel this hidden treasure. This is very important. Okay, so contaminations are the afflictions. Afflictions are the contaminations. And what is influenced by the afflictions are known as contaminated. The things which are influenced, or the things which are influenced by the afflictions are known as the contaminated. So whatever is influenced by the afflictions, they are only of the nature of suffering. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. And suffering, there are three kinds, right? Quick, we don't have much time. Okay, just for information, Chanchula, if you can inform the administrators that, and now what I think is that today I'm not too sure. Today I'm not too sure, but from tomorrow, I'm thinking of actually. Otherwise, what you can do is that we can do this. I would say this is better. We don't have time, and there are so many materials to be covered, and they're extremely important materials. So what I'm thinking of doing is that we'll have the class. Instead of 3, we'll start at 2:30. Is it okay for you? 2:30, and 2:30 to what? 3:30, 4. 2:30 to 4, 1.5 hours, and 4 to 4.5 hour, half-hour break, short break. And you want to have some discussions, otherwise just short break. 4:30, 4:30 to 5:30, another class, right? And then at 6 we have the dinner, half an hour break for you. Okay, so this is what I thought. Otherwise,
This afternoon going to the Rosary special?
no, from tomorrow. Okay, so there we will have 4 classes a day. So usually for the Bodhicitta retreat, it used to be like the earlier 15 days, and then it became 12 days, and then it became 10 days, and then it became 1 week. 1 week is too short, right? So we need like the 4 sessions a day. So tomorrow we'll have, from tomorrow we'll have 4 sessions. Okay. Chanchula, if possible, you can, inform this to the administrator. Yeah. Okay, good. But who rings the bell for the?
Paulo, he's outside.
Okay, Paulo does it. Okay, thank you, Paulo. Okay, so now from today we have the afternoon class at 2:30. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we talk about all contaminated things are suffering nature. When we say all contaminated things, things which are influenced by afflictions, things which are influenced by contaminations. What are the contaminations? What are contamination? Contamination refers to afflictions. You're getting it? So what is influenced by afflictions only results in miseries. Okay. So you seriously think about this, right? Seriously think about this. For example, your body is influenced, contaminated, because it is influenced by the afflictions. And your thoughts. So we see that all what is contaminated, we have the experience of the miseries, pains, and suffering, or the miseries. They are of 3 kinds. What are they? Suffering change, and pervasive condition suffering. Okay, particularly I would say I would challenge all of you, not only the from the NMC, even the NMC. I'm just wondering if you are very precise. Okay, what is suffering? Suffering. The first suffering. What is suffering?
Physical suffering.
Physical suffering.
Mental suffering.
What about mental suffering?
Mental as well.
Siri?
20th bite of a cheesecake, mundane suffering.
Okay,
No, sorry.
mundane happiness.
No, that's suffering of change.
Okay. Yes, Umla.
All sufferings that we can feel and see, which should be anybody can see it.
Okay. Yes, Chelsea.
So the suffering that everyone understands, like sickness.
Perfect. So this is perfect class. Amazing. Okay, so you all got it correctly. Any suffering which anybody can easily identify them as suffering is known as evident suffering or suffering of suffering. Evident suffering or suffering of suffering. In other words, to make it very precise, a suffering which anybody can easily identify them as suffering is suffering of suffering or evident suffering, number one. Number two. What is number two? Suffering change. What does it mean by suffering change? Anybody? Resents. Quick. Okay, Chanjula.
Mundane happiness.
Huh?
Mundane happiness.
All mundane happiness. Okay, Nirajla, same?
I was just explaining suffering and change. Should I say that?
Yes.
So it's called suffering.
Okay, suffering first. Suffering changes. All mundane happiness is suffering change. All mundane happiness, all mundane pleasant experiences is suffering change. And okay, the next question is how are the mundane happiness, how is it that the mundane happiness is suffering, number one? Number two, why is it referred to as the change? You're getting it? Two questions. Let's not forget it. Suffering change means all mundane happiness. Mundane happiness, why are they, how they are suffering, number one. Then number two, why this word change is used here. Anyone? Resents. Okay. Yes, sir?
Kishila, because first
Your first question is, how is it suffering?
it's suffering because it seems like pleasure, but it's actually not. It's like a bait.
It's not pleasure. Is it happiness or not?
No.
Are you sure? It's not happiness. Okay, Isra is very sure it's not happiness. Okay, so how is it not happiness?
Because even though you think it's happiness, like using the cheesecake, if you have 10 bites later on, you'll feel.
No, don't go for the 10 bite. Just go to the first bite. Then say at the most 3 bites.
Okay, so
Then
first
fine.
three
What's
bites,
wrong?
It seems like happiness.
It is happiness, yeah?
It is happiness in the beginning,
Yeah.
but then later on.
No, later don't eat.
Okay, so in the beginning
You
it's
know.
happiness. The first 3 bites are happiness.
There's no suffering.
That's not suffering.
Okay. And then anybody who disagrees with Isra resents. Okay, why do you disagree? Sorry, your name again? Prerag. So some of you, I may ask your name over and over again. This is, be sympathetic, right? Don't feel irritated. Okay, Prerag, tell me.
So it is happiness, that's why it's mundane happiness, but in the long term, it is not true happiness.
How?
Just to say. So if eating cheesecake every day, one bite. would
No,
get
don't
me-
eat every day.
Okay. If eating it once also gets me infinite happiness, it does not.
No, why should you have to have infinite happiness,
If I'm happy with
If you-
mundane happiness, then I don't know. But if I
No, if you are looking for the infinite happiness, don't go for the cheesecake. Cheesecake will give you temporary happiness, right? What is happiness?
temporarily,
Is it happy or not?
conventionally, yes. Conventionally.
Okay. Is it Prerag same, right? Okay. Anyone else? Raise hands. Okay, Ajay Kesanla.
It's not happiness because it's contaminated with everything.
It is contaminated. How is it contaminated?
Because you have the desire.
So what's the problem if you have the desire? What's the problem? You have the desire for Buddhahood. It's beautiful. Right? So even the desire for Buddhahood, is it wrong? If the desire for Buddhahood. Huh? What's wrong if there is a desire? Okay, this is Omala.
So if you don't get it, then you are
No, no, if you don't get it, so mentally be prepared, right? I may get it, I may not get it. If I get it, I'm lucky. I enjoy it, and this happiness. If I don't get it, I don't mind, right? If this is your attitude, what's the problem? Okay, huh? Oh, that's not possible. Are you sure? Some people are very smart, right? Okay, I don't have any expectation. If something good happens, I'm happy. If it doesn't happen, okay, it's fine. Sanjukta?
Because my happiness depends on cheesecake, I'm not free.
Okay, your happiness is depends on cheesecake. You are not free. Why you are not free?
Because only the cheesecake is there, I'll be happy. That's why I'm suffering.
Then even the Buddhas, they are happy because of sentient beings. Only if the sentient beings are there, then the Buddhas are happy. Right? So Buddhas also not really happy? Okay. Ajay, don't know you want to say? Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Pudila? Okay. So even this first bite is also bait. How?
Even though it's delicious, but it will take me more into suffering.
How? So the first bite, we're not talking about the 30th bite. We're talking about the first bite. How does it take you more into suffering? How?
Because of the second bite. Because it will eventually leave. Because the first bite is very delicious.
Yes.
You might feel like it's very delicious. And then you have a second bite. And then
Do you know some people who have a great the sense of moderation? You know, what is the alcohol shots? The first shot, they take 2 shots. They don't go for the third. You're getting it? Some people, they call it pack. The first pack, they go for 2 packs and they don't go for the third. They're very smart. Right? So what's the problem? Okay.
Keshila, because then the example you gave that, in the 5-star hotel, like having the cake, then we forget that same 5-star hotel is very unstable, and the next day we can also be slapped and terrible things can happen to us. And we don't have the urgency to escape it. So we are in that prison, we are not seeing it, and that cake is keeping us trapped.
Okay. Okay, good. Nubala?
For me, simply because the happiness of the first bite of cheesecake is not long lasting.
Yes.
So, if it is not long lasting, then it does not become happiness in the true sense. Because you had the cheesecake, and for 5 seconds you are happy, and then after that, what?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 5 seconds I'm happy, that's happy. That's all. So it doesn't matter. Okay, Shalom Sujila.
When I go the very school, I sit on outside the sun. When I can say that happiness, more you stay there, the happiness will increase. In reality, it's explosive, it's suffering. It is happiness. More I enjoy, the happiness will increase.
Okay, Shalom, if I got it correctly, then what you're saying is that if it's a real happiness, the more you partake of this experience, your happiness should keep increasing. Instead, it keeps decreasing. The more you partake in this, the less happy it becomes. So, which means that this is not happiness. So, it means that this is not increasing happiness, it's still happiness. Right? So, happiness, there are 2 kinds, which increases and which doesn't increase. So, this belongs to the second category, low quality happiness. Okay. So, your name again? Tuesday, yes.
Because it creates the illusion of the projection that it's reality. So the senses become the criteria. I decide that this is real, and I lose a sense of urgency of escaping it or not being moved and pushed by it the whole time. Because
so what about the joy of wanting to become Buddha.
As long as it doesn't.
The joy. Do you mean to say that the moment there's a joy, you see the what triggered the joy is seen as real? Is it what I'm saying?
Come again?
Do you mean to say that whenever you feel joy, what triggered this joy will be invariably seen as real? Is what I'm saying?
Will be seen as real, but it's not real.
This is what I'm saying. So, for example, the joy of wanting to become Buddha. Joy of wanting to become Buddha. Is that contaminated?
If there's attachment to it, yes.
This is a whole question. You're getting it? Say the desire to become Buddha. Is that attachment or not?
He's saying yes.
Okay. So since we don't have much time, I like to say to a quick conclusion here. What Gorilla said. And what Pudila said. It is a bait. Yes, we have to think of it very seriously. And particularly, it's not that don't force yourself. It's a bait. It is bait. But we try to really feel that it's a bait. On the basis of how do you feel as a bait? By seeing things from a broader picture. Seeing things from a broader picture. Okay, when you are in the midst of celebrating your birthday party, or say the birthday party of your son, of your daughter, and so forth, I say there's such a joy there. You just sucked up in this experience. But if you look at things from a very broader picture, then we see that from the broader picture, we see that the whole, say, our existence is marked by sickness, aging, death, worries, anxieties, yes? And in fact, one moment of such say this sadness, such a tragedy is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of the merriments, festivities, celebrations, birthday parties and so forth. One moment is good enough. To lose somebody who you love so much. For example, at the time of the Buddha, there was one lady. There was a lady who lost the child. She was going crazy. Going to everywhere, requesting all the people that she met with to help revive this child. You're getting it? So just imagine that we go through the same mental state as this lady. Do you think that the world to her is seen as beautiful? Not at all. It's acutely painful. Okay, and this moment can happen to us anytime. If that happens, all our past merriments, wonders, celebrations, parties, they are just so hollow, shallow, gloomy, totally meaningless. So, what traps us in this? Wise people will see the broader reality and then will try to escape from this altogether. So, why do you have to escape? Because we are trapped in this experience. We are trapped in this experience known as samsara. What traps us? Say the Nazi time. The Nazi time, they, with gunpoint, you are put to the prison. You are just dragged into prison. But nobody is putting us under gun to say they're going to the samsara, right? What trapped in samsara? So what trapped in samsara? The fish. Nobody is telling the fish, hey, go to this hook, right? What made the fish go to the hook? The bait. So if the bait is not delicious, do you think the fish will go there? It should be delicious. So what put us into this samsara? Nobody forced us to go into samsara. There must be something like a bait on the hook of samsara, right? What is that bait? This is the mundane happiness. This is a bait that keeps us being trapped in samsara. Okay, so this will become very clear to us the more we think of the bigger picture of the reality. And it's not that, oh, I'm not realized, he's realized, she realized, they can do that, not me. No. If we get little time, and don't wait for the time, we have to create our own time to think about all composite things impermanent, all contaminated things are suffering nature. The more we think about these, and particularly contamination in the form of afflictions, more precisely the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, how that traps us in samsara. If you notice so well, then we see that all this mundane happiness, these are the real, the bait, you can feel it. Okay, so for this, it's not that, oh, he's smart, she's smart, they can, come to realization. Well, Lama Tsongkhapa is very realized, he's also very realized. No, why not we can become realized? So how? Spend more time. Okay, he's so rich, he's so rich, he has this amount of money. Why not you? Just keep depositing some money in the bank every day, right? Keep depositing some money in the bank every day, every month, or every week. Then within 10 years, 20 years time, there's a huge amount of money. This is the law of nature. You agree with me? So just keep reflecting on these. No doubt that your realization will increase to see that these are all just a small children's games. Okay, so this is known as the suffering of change, the bait, and and we have to really understand it well. I wish that this retreat is a little longer. In future, I think the retreat will make it minimum like 9 to 10 days. So 1 week is too short. Okay. And if I really rush through, then you will only end up with confusion, right? Yes, you'll confusion, and then okay, all contaminated things are suffering nature. Suffering is of 3 kinds. What is the 3 kinds of suffering? Suffering change, and pervasive conditioned suffering. The third suffering is the one which the ordinary people cannot even identify. Not as an object. They can even forget about identify them as suffering. We even don't identify their existence. But it's the second suffering. People, they don't identify them as suffering, but they do identify them as existent. Right? For example, the happiness, yes, it exists. Yes, I have the happiness. You at least identify that it exists. Although you may not identify them as suffering in nature. But the third suffering, you even don't know the existence of their existence. Forget about identifying them as suffering. So for this, we have to first identify them. Once you identify them, then we have to know how they are suffering. Okay, first, I'll give you some examples. One is that being under the sway, being under the control of contaminated karmas and afflictions. This is number one. Being under the control of contaminated karmas and afflictions is pervasive, conditioned suffering. Number 2, involuntary birth in samsara. Involuntary birth in samsara is number 2 example. Number 3, all contaminated neutral feelings. All contaminated neutral feelings. Okay, we have these 3 examples for the pervasive conditioned suffering. Now we need to know why they are referred to as the pervasive conditioned suffering. Number 1, we need to know how they are suffering in the first place. Number 2, once you know that they are suffering, why they are referred to as pervasive. Why they are referred to as conditioned. Pervasive, conditioned. Okay, number 1, what's the first thing that we need to sort out? How they are suffering. How they are suffering. How the pervasive conditioned suffering, or being under the sway of contaminated karmas afflictions is suffering. Number 1. Or the involuntary birth is suffering. Or the contaminated neutral feelings are suffering, right? How they are suffering in the first place. Then the number two is, once you know that they are suffering, why they are referred to as pervasive, and then what they are referred to as conditioned. You're getting it? Okay, anybody who likes to share with us how they are suffering? Anyone? Okay, Choradindula.
Because this kind of suffering is still trapped in the samsara.
Okay, how we are trapped in samsara by this suffering?
Uncontrolled rebirth, uncontrolled birth, death, and so on.
Exactly. So there is the involuntary birth happening. They say we don't want to be under the force, under the control of somebody, right? We should have total freedom. We seek total freedom. But on the contrary, involuntary birth means that you have no choice, but the birth has to take place. With the birth, what happens? Sickness, aging, death, everything happens, which we don't like. So these are all the results of the involuntary birth. So that is the suffering. Very good. And the involuntary birth. And being under the sway of contaminated karmas and afflictions. How is that suffering? Anyone? Being under the sway, being under the control of the contaminated karmas and afflictions. How is that suffering? Yes, Gabor?
There's no freedom to...
There's no freedom. You're being dictated by the contaminated karmas and afflictions. You have no freedom. Very good. So from this we are learning that what is suffering? Suffering is lack of freedom. Suffering is lack of freedom. That is suffering. So here we don't have the freedom. Good. And then also that, let's say this is very important. For example, let's say that, to give you some examples, I say nowadays it's very difficult for the Tibetans to come out of Tibet. In 1980s, 1990s, the Tibetans, they escaped from Tibet to come to Nepal and India, right? And sometimes they are being arrested on the border by the Chinese. They arrested, and so there are situations where some of the Tibetans and the police, what is that? The camps, the soldiers, or the soldier camps, they were Tibetan soldiers as well as these Chinese soldiers mix. And this is what we need to learn, that some of the Tibetans who were being arrested there, captured, they were being brutally being abused by the Tibetan soldiers, the Tibetans, from the Chinese side, Tibetans, and the Chinese soldiers, they're just sitting on the side. They're not, beating you. They're not scolding you, just side. And the Tibetan soldiers, they were beating you, just insulting you. Okay. What impression do you get? And many of the Tibetans who were arrested, they report to other people that the really bad people are our own people, Tibetans, not the Chinese. Chinese, they're not doing anything, not beating you, they remain calm. And the Tibetans who are coming from that side, they actually, beat us, they actually scold us, criticize, accuse, insult us, Our own people are very bad. Okay, how many agree, how many disagree with this? Okay, or do you tell me what makes you disagree?
Because the mastermind was the Chinese.
Yes, the people who are just calm, peaceful, they're sitting there, the Chinese, right, Chinese soldiers sitting there, they are the masterminds. So these Tibetans, they are in their hands. If they are being kind to the Tibetan, people, then they will become the prisoners themselves. If it's the Chinese, they will not become the prisoners. Even if they don't beat, nobody is watching over them. Because the CCP, headquarters is very happy with them, it's our men. But the Tibetan soldiers, they are not our men. They can anytime turn against us. right? So these Chinese people are kept just to keep an eye on these Tibetan soldiers. So the Tibetan soldiers will have to, the more they beat the Tibetans, then the more they will be upgraded, and then more the safety will be given to them. So therefore the masterminds are those people. You're getting it? So the people who are very mature in their thinking, they will not be angry towards the Tibetan soldiers. They will be angry towards the Chinese soldiers, or worse, they will be really angry towards the headquarters, Chinese headquarters, CCPD here. You're getting it? Okay. Whereas those people who are less immature, who would just see the immediate, not see what is the mastermind. So these people will be very angry towards the Tibetan soldiers, not to the Chinese soldiers. You're getting it? So this way, how mature you are, that determines how you behave. Okay. So, for example, let's say that COVID-19, or let's say that somebody stole your, snatched your mobile, and so forth, and you'll be very angry towards COVID-19, towards the person who snatched your mobile. What you're doing is perfect. There's nothing wrong in it. It's not that you should not be you should not be angry towards the person who snatched your mobile. Of course, the thing is that yes, that person is wrong, but the blame instantly goes to that, right? Had it been the case that you did not commit the negative karma in the past, that your mobile will be snatched this time, nobody can snatch your mobile. You're getting it? Your karma is also involved there. The mastermind for this act happening that you are suffering now is because of your previous karma. You're getting it? That's the master, contaminant karma. That contaminant karma, why did you do that contaminant karma? Because of the afflictions. Afflictions triggered this contaminant karmas. You must have snatched somebody's possession in the past life, which was triggered by your attachment towards the wealth and anger towards that person. These afflictions, they triggered you to engage in the negative karma. That is now giving rise to the result of your mobile being snatched by somebody else. So you see this immediate cause, the robber snatched your mobile. Yes, that person, you try to take it away from try to run away from stay away from the robber. That's very important. Meanwhile, don't forget your past karma. So finally, all these problems revolve around the contaminant karmas and afflictions. As long as I'm under the sway of these two, I will never be freed from any of these incidents, these suffering. You're getting it? Okay. That is what? How being under sway of contaminant karmas and afflictions, this is suffering. We are under the control of the contaminant karmas and afflictions. All our miseries somehow, they're because of contaminant karmas and afflictions. And why we have to go through these miseries over and over again? When will they come to an end? They'll never come to an end on their own unless until we put concerted effort. Without concerted effort, all these tears will be endless, incessantly unending. It's going to be unending. So, how to bring an end? By removing the mastermind. What's the mastermind? Contaminant karmas and afflictions. You're getting it? So this is how the mature people, the more mature people, they will see that contaminant karmas and afflictions are responsible for all these problems. Okay. Then the next is, why are these known as the pervasive? Why not the first two suffering referred to as the pervasive? Anyone? Say it again. Okay, neutral feelings. Okay, neutral feelings, contaminated neutral feelings. Contaminated neutral feelings meaning, for example, okay, this is a very important point. If you could remember, I think on day one we talked about let's say 3 moments of dream and the 4th moment of the waking up. Let's talk about 3 moments. First, you are given a treat, right? But are giving getting treat, right? Yes, Parag? Okay, getting treat. He was so happy, right? Wow, this is the right place to come, right? And he himself is so kind, right? You know that? Okay, so that say that each one of let's say in your dream you get what amazing treat on the day we went to Bodh Gaya, what Mahabodhi temple, which corresponded with the Guru Nanak's birthday. Very auspicious, right? So the Guru Nanak's birthday, we went to Bodh Gaya temple, Mahabodhi temple, we took the expression Bodhisattva vow, and so it happened it's your birthday, people, all the participants gave you a treat, all this coincided, it's a euphoric day for you, right? Okay, in a dream, first moment. And second moment, then coming back, suddenly there's an earthquake, right? Everybody's struggling for their life, everybody's screaming, they're struggling for their life, and you think that okay, then the building next to you, coming from coming towards the center, in between on the road, then the building next to you collapse. Okay, now I'm dead. Number 2, right? And then number three, that you escaped, right? Okay, I'm lucky that it did not fall on me. So, okay. So you are relaxing. You are now having a little bit of neutral feeling. Number 3. And then number 4, your mother wakes you up, right? Or Paulo rang the bell, right? And you wake up, right? Wow, it's all just dream. 4 moments, right? First one is suffering change, so much joy. Number 2 is suffering, earthquake, right? Then number 3 is pervasive continuous neutral feeling, and number 4 is waking up. You're getting it? Okay. The first 3, they are all happening in the dream. You're getting it? I say, tell me something about the commonality, the one common thing among these 3 moments, the first 3 moments. Tell me. Yes. Habituation. Affliction. How? No. I'm talking about of the first 3 are the dreams, and the third one is waking up. What is common thing among these 3? The first 3 moments. No control. Anyone else? Yes.
It's easy to wake up from it.
It's easy to wake up from it. Anyone else? Anyone else? There are so many things which are common among these 3. They're all impermanent. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes. They perceive the dream as real. Is that what he said? Pervasive. How pervasive? Okay. Okay. Pervasive has many connotations, right? It keeps repeating or it keeps coming. Anyone else? Okay. Do you agree with me that you are deceived by the perception? You perceive the dream as real. Yes? No? So this is ignorance, this is contamination. Even the third one also has this flaw, that neutral feeling is contaminated by the belief that the dream is real. So that's contaminated, there's under the contamination of the ignorance. That even the third one, in all three there's a belief that the dream is real, which is ignorance. And seeing the dream is real, that, okay, this is very important. The first, you will say that the first one is suffering. The first one, because this is bad, pleasant. Second one is also suffering because it's suffering. It's a manifest suffering. Third one is suffering because, anyone? Okay, this is something I like to listen to you. How is the third one? Neutral feeling, believing the dream is real. How is that suffering? Anyone? Raise hands. Anyone? Okay, Raviji.
We start believing it as because it appears to be objectively real.
It appears to be objectively. So what's the problem? If not only that it appears objectively real, but you believe that it's objectively real. So what's the problem? Anyone? Okay, yes.
It's not real.
No, it's not real. You believe it to be real. So what's the problem? If you believe it to be real, what's the problem?
You're deceiving yourself. Ignorance.
Okay, you're deceiving yourself. What's the problem if you deceive yourself? Okay, so this is we need to learn how to ask questions, not only to somebody, but to ask yourself, so that your thinking will become very clear, crystal clear. You're getting it? So he got to a deep point. It's a self-deception. Well, what's the problem if there is self-deception? Parulji?
You continue to be trapped in ignorance.
You continue to be trapped in ignorance. Okay, you continue to be trapped in ignorance. But why do you call it as a trap? It's a nice feeling, you know? It's a nice, neutral feeling. It leads you to suffering. How?
Ignorance will lead to addictions.
But what is this? What's the problem with this per se? Sanjukta?
It makes us lose the sense of urgency.
Okay, that's true. The Buddha, does he have the sense of urgency? Buddha?
Oh no, one second.
Yes. Okay, it makes us lose the sense of urgency. Why?
Because when you see something as real, like Parulji said, you're trapped in it, and then you don't see the.
But keep in mind that if there's a snake coming here, there's a great sense of urgency. And this sense of urgency is because of seeing the snake as real. It does not make you lose your sense of urgency. It can build your sense of urgency. Okay. Yes.
Involuntary participation. Like you're not volunteering for it.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let's all listen to what Tina has to say.
I'm saying that what Parvati said, that you're perpetually trapped here in the dream because you don't have a control over it. So it's an involuntary participation.
Okay, now the earthquake stopped. Okay, just now take a little bit of rest. So you are taking part in this dream. Taking part in this dream involuntarily. Because of there's nothing as, in the dream, there's no real earthquake. It was just your mental creation. You thought it's real. Now you thought that the dream subsided. No, earthquake subsided, right? And you are taking part in this. Okay, now rest. You are taking part in this. You are actually trapped. You are made to behave. You are made to behave involuntarily by the situation. You are not behaving on your own, with your own freedom. But the situation makes you to think that, okay, now the earthquake subsided. Okay, now relax, breathe. Okay, now you're okay. This is all just involuntarily being, you are behaving involuntarily, made to behave in this way by the situation, how it appeared to you. So there's no freedom for you. There's a subtle lack of freedom. Lack of freedom is misery. Subtle lack of freedom is misery. So this is misery. You're getting it? This is very important concept. And what I would say is that all of us, although it may be little vague, it doesn't matter. At least you heard about it, and these will greatly help you to get more clarity in the future. Okay, good. A pervasive condition. Now, why do you think that these three kinds of suffering are known as, are referred with the label pervasive? Why? Okay, Ajay Kisan Rola.
These kinds of suffering are present across all three realms.
Okay, this version of the suffering, the third version of suffering, exists in all three realms, pervades in all three realms, pervasive. Pervasive has a connotation that it pervades across samsara, all three realms. Okay, what are the three realms? Okay, desire realm, form realm, formless realm. Okay, and so I'll quickly explain this to you because there are some of you who are new, and those who already know this, I'll try to see if the thoughts that come to you is what like it can help you to evaluate whether your understanding is crystal clear. Okay, pervasive, the three realms, whole samsara. Okay, either you are liberated or you're not liberated. This is the only two options. Either you are liberated or not liberated. You agree with me or not? Okay, you can exist as somebody who is liberated or not as liberated. So how many of you are liberated, raise hands? Okay, you're not liberated, then we're in the non-liberated state. Non-liberated state is known as samsara. You're getting it? Non-liberated state is samsara. And this samsara can be divided into three groups. First, we need to know the technical labels: desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. The first one, desire realm. Desire realm is a realm which is marked. Desire realm is the realm which is marked by desire for sensual objects. This is a realm marked by desire for the 5 sensual objects. In other words, here the beings who are born in the desire realm, so the tendency for them is that the mind is drawn towards outside sensual objects, outside objects. Okay. Whereas through practice, okay, first through teachings, then through practice, you come to know that, and then yes, you come to realize that there are limitations there with external, and then you go deeper into the internal meditation. From this, you see that the experience of the happiness that you feel inside is way what surpasses the joy that you get out of the external the stimulus. So these people go deeper into the inside meditation to trigger the mental happiness from within. This is so these people say the first level of this kind, when they succeed in this, they are referred to as the beings of the form realm, which means that and they are is marked with a very specific accomplishment of the samadhi, meditative civilization. It's not just like when you meditate and then you get some stability, you are in the form realm. No, it's not like that. For example, I can very loosely I can say that okay, you go in your schools, then you can go to college. From the college, then you can undergrad, you do the postgrad. In a loose sense. But actually, when you go there, there are so many technicalities there, right? Whether you get the certificate or not certificate, after completing the exam, still you don't get a certificate, and it's time for the enrollment for the post graduation, and you go there. I passed the exam. This is the mark sheet, but where's the certificate? You don't get certificate. All these technicalities are there, detailed nuances, technicalities are there. But in a loose sense, I would say that they say when you go inwardly to see that the happiness that you get through meditation far excels that of happiness that you get from the external stimulus, external material stimulus. So there you go into the first level of the form realm. Okay, let's say form realm. Form realm, which is like higher level of the high level on the basis of your meditative accomplishments. So there is about the physical forms. Physical forms are still there. And then you as a meditator, you feel that physical form also has limitations, many limitations there. And when you reach that level, you don't have the suffering. The form realm, no suffering. You have the second two sufferings, not the first one. You are freed from the first suffering in the form realm. Then from the form, still you see that the suffering changes there. Then you go deeper into meditation and you go to the level of the formless, where the form inhibition created by the physical form is not there. You go to the formless realm. So all these things can happen even without the wisdom of emptiness. So where without the wisdom of emptiness you get to these three realms, you are still within the bound of samsara, within the wall of samsara. So in the formless realm, form realm, there are 4 levels. First concentration, second concentration, third concentration, fourth concentration. Form realm is divided into 3 levels. And the formless realm again is divided into 4 levels. Form realm divided into 4 levels. Formless also divided into 4 levels. Form divided into 4 levels. What are they? First concentration, second concentration, third concentration, fourth concentration. Next one is formless realm. Formless realm again divided into 4. What are they? Infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, and peak of existence. Let me repeat it. Infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, and peak of existence. Infinite space means, so which do you think is subtler? Physical form or the space? Which is subtler? Space is subtler. So when you reach that, when you reach the full-fledged version of the 4th level of the form realm, then you start to see the drawbacks of the physical form. And subtler than physical form is the space. So they meditate on that. They meditate on what is known as this infinite space. That everything is just pervaded by the space. Everything is pervaded by space without the physical form. So when they succeed in this meditation, they take birth in what is known as the realm of the infinite space. When you reach that level of the meditation, then you tend to see the demerits of the space also. So next is the infinite consciousness, meaning the mind. Which do you think is the subtler? Space or the mind? Mind is subtler. So then you move from the infinite space to the infinite mind. Meditation, meditative stabilization of the infinite consciousness or the infinite mind. You go to it. So where you deliberately visualize that everything is pervaded by everywhere, it's just a consciousness there. There's no space, no physical form, just a consciousness. So what's subtler than consciousness? When you reach that level, again you see some drawbacks of the consciousness. So what is subtler than consciousness? Anyone? Just in this world, think of anything subtler than consciousness. Anyone? Raise your hand. Yes? Thoughts are part of the mind. Anyone else? Yes? Soul, the soul in a loose sense. In a loose sense, soul means a person. In a loose sense, soul means a person. A soul means a person. And also, it can also refer to, when you make it a little more complicated about the reincarnation, then the soul can refer to the consciousness. But technically it is not. Technically it's a very different story. You're getting it? Technically. Ordinary people, when they talk about the soul, when they talk about the Atma, it is the self. a self which moves from one life to the other in a loose sense. But technically speaking, the concept is very different, and technical concept is not understood by the common people. What the common people refer to as the Atma or the soul, they are referring to the self, which moves from one life to the other. But the technically speaking, which means the philosophically speaking, is very different concept. You're getting it? Okay. So this technical understanding of the soul or the Atma is not accepted in Buddhism, but the soul or Atma in the context of the self, the way the ordinary people understand, that is accepted by Buddhism. That is one which migrates from one life to the other. That's the self, or refer to the consciousness. Okay, what is subtler than consciousness? Anyone? Huh? Yes. Okay, so now in this world, we don't see anything subtler than consciousness. So I'm not talking about emptiness. I'm talking about what is the available around. Space is there, and then they say your mind. I see this flower there. I see this flower. You see this flower. You have your mind, and the flower is the object. Your mind and the flower is the object. Your mind is the subject, and the flower is the object. So this object, you try to make it subtler. First, physical, then space, then consciousness. So beyond consciousness, there's no object which is subtler. So what you do is that you drop the consciousness, you drop the object. So what is the object? Vacuity. Vacuity meaning no object. You drop the object. What is left? Only the subject is left. You're getting it? This is known as the vacuity. Infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity. This is where you drop the object, and now only your awareness is left. Okay, what is next? Peak of existence. Peak of existence is, now what do? Object is dropped, what is left now? Only your mind is left. The mind, subject is left. Now you try to also drop the subject. Subject cannot be dropped, because the mind, it never stops. You're getting it? There's no termination of the mind. There's no termination of the mind, because of which you cannot drop the mind. At the most, the mind can be made subtler. You're getting it? The mind can be made subtler. Okay, let's say that there is the smoke issue there, smoke, right? The smoke, and then the dust, everything mixed together, it becomes smoke. So the smoke is also part of this air. You agree with me? So what do? Can you remove the air from this? You cannot remove it, right? So what you do is that this air, which is heavily polluted by the smoke, you can remove the smoke, but the air becomes subtler. You're getting it? Likewise, the mind, you cannot remove the mind. So the mind, at the most, it can be made subtler. You're getting it? So the subtlest version of the mind within the samsara is known as the peak of existence. The peak is the subtlest peak of existence. Okay, so what after this? After this, there's nowhere to go. After this, there's nowhere to go. What should we do now? So that is within the bound of samsara. How to eject out of samsara? By realizing emptiness. So it is because of this that the Buddha, the two teachers that the Prince Siddhartha met, the two teachers, they reached the first teacher reached the samadhi, meditative samadhi with vacuity. Then second teacher experienced the highest level of the samadhi, the peak of existence. And because they did not realize emptiness, they are still within the bound of samsara. So the two teachers cannot give the path to the Buddha, which makes him, which fulfills him. So the Buddha left to look for his own path, and finally he discovered the emptiness. You're getting it? Okay, this is the way how we can eject out of samsara. Okay, we'll stop here. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam samgate bodhisvatyatha om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisvatyatha om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisvatyatha